Today I'm going to show you how to bind off your double knitting. Now when you were doing the double knitting, all these stitches were on one needle and they were arranged front, back. They were interlaced on the needle. I have divided them so the odd numbered stitches, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, are on one needle, and the even numbered stitches, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on, are on a different needle. This needle happens to be the same size as the one I was knitting with. It doesn't have to be. It can be smaller if you don't happen to have a spare needle of the same size lying around. The important thing is these needed to be parked on a different needle, because once you do that, you can open up your double knitting. In this project I have a second color, this light pink. It was worked across here. The last light pink stitch is right there. So I've brought the tail forward, and then I used duplicate stitch to weave the tail in along here. And I've left a little more cut tail than I normally would because this is double knitting. It will be hid in the work when I close it up. You can hide tails, knots, all kinds of things in double knitting. So we're ready to bind off. I'm going to have you do a modified 3-needle bind off. Now a normal 3-needle bind off, you have the yarn to the back and you would be knitting both stitches together like so. I do not want you to do that. And here's why. If you do that, first off, you'll press both stitches together vertically, but more importantly, you will create a row of purl bumps along the back of your work. Well, you've gone to all the trouble with your double knitting to have no wrong side. You have an inside and an outside rather than a right side and a wrong side. So let's not sort of mess that up at the last moment here. Instead, what I want you to do, put the tail in the middle. Now, when you come to do your bind off, you're going to go knitwise as you expect, but go purlwise into the second needle. Wrap the yarn, purl that back stitch off, knit the front stitch off. And this is going to cause those stitches to lie nicely on top of each other. We're going to do that again. Knit the first, so knitwise, purlwise, purl this stitch off, knit this stitch off, and now you can pull one over the other to bind off. If you find it tricky to do it with a knitting needle, you can use a crochet hook instead. And it's the exact same motions. Knitwise, purlwise, purl it off, knit it off, and then one over the other. You'll notice this is coming out a bit loose. That is okay. I learned this trick from Sally Melville. Bind off more loosely than you think you need to. Then block the item. See how it wears. See what you need. You can always come back and tighten up a chain bind off. So then you can tighten that chain once you've blocked the garment so that it matches the tension of the rest of the garment. And that will give you just a really beautiful edge. And remember that this chain bind off is going to match the crochet chain cast on you did back at the beginning. So not only will you have no wrong side, but you'll have no top and bottom either. You will have nothing but beautiful, flawless double knitting all around.